Welcome to the Element Podcast. My name is Askia, and on this episode, we have a very special guest, my grandmother. I wanted to bring her in because she's one of the best storytellers that I know, and so in this episode, we get into some of the stories between the two of us that we've experienced that are just straight up comedy, and we also get into some of her faith and some of the miracles that she's experienced and have been through and has seen herself. So I hope that you enjoy this episode, and I really hope that you can see how special of a dynamic my grandmother and I have. And I really wanted to do this because I love her, and I really wanted to capture this moment just to have in the archives. And I would really encourage that you sit down and have conversations with your loved ones across the board, just to be able to document and look back on at some point. And I'm really excited. And so with that being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Margaret Wilson in her element. Welcome everybody to the Element Podcast. My name is Askia, and on today's episode, I have a very, very special guest, my grandmother. I'll let her introduce herself.
Okay, my name is Margaret Wilson, and I am AJ's grandmother.
I love it. I love it. So, how are things going? How are you feeling right now?
Good.
Yeah.
Everything's going good in my life right now. Yes.
Good. I like to do mental health checks. At the start of the podcast, I've done them on some of them, but on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your mental health?
I would say a 10.
Really good. Mm-hmm. Good. I love that. What's making it a 10? Just all in all.
I just have peace, and I've come to understand my faith more and trust more, and just take it one day at a time and enjoy the day and do whatever I can to make somebody else's day a little better.
Yeah. I've recently adopted that saying, and I say it all the time. We just have to take it one day at a time. Right. Because it's so true, but it seems to catch people off. Mm-hmm. Whenever I say it, they're like, oh yeah, that's right. Yep. That's right. And so can you kind of talk about sort of the mentality you've had with now getting to how is the change and not change in faith, but the evolution of your faith and having this peace, how does that impact your day-to-day life as you take it one day at a time?
Just the serenity prayer that there's things I can control that I need to control, and the wisdom to know the difference, and the courage to accept the things that I can change.
Right.
Know the difference of all that.
For sure.
And I just have found a big difference in that, AJ. Mm-hmm. And it's not about me. I got over me. Mm-hmm. And when I was younger and like your age, you still need to plan for the future.
Right.
You still need to put money away. You need to think of what you're going to be like when you get older. Mm-hmm. But life can change in a blink of an eye. You can have $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
And if your life isn't going right, that $1 million can be taken away.
Gone.
And then you've got to figure out how you're going to live without anything.
Right.
And that's when your faith comes in. Mm-hmm. When your faith comes in, when it's kind of like Job in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Everything was taken away from him. And he told Satan, you could take everything but his life. And I still believe that our life is controlled by a higher power, and that our God that we believe in is in control of that. And I trust and believe in Jesus. I've just had too many miracles in my life. You know that.
Yeah, literally.
Really? I mean,
literally. Yeah, no, it's really a trip. Were you always a person of faith?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Born and raised with it?
Yes. Well, I was born, or what they call cradled, into the Catholic religion.
Okay.
I'm not so much a religious person and believe in religion too much, except that I do believe for children you need that structure. But I believe that in my growing up, I was taught a lot of things that I don't believe are true. I don't believe that our God is a God that's going to discipline us all the time, that we have to be afraid of all the time, to fear your God. It says that in the Bible, but what it's like your father.
It's a reverence.
Yeah, it's
a
like your
reverence.
regular.
It's not scared.
Right. If you love your father and mother, you're going to do what you can to be the person they want you to be, or be a good person, and listen to what they're teaching you. And the main thing is to follow actions. And I guess that's where I got disappointed a lot growing up is people's actions didn't go along with their words.
Yeah,
you
hypocrites.
know, and they would tell you one thing and they're acting completely different. And that's it.
I feel that. Yeah, totally. I feel that. So tell me, like, from your perspective, I often see like family hierarchies, right? Like if you have a family tree, you have the patriarch or the matriarch at the top, and then the kids, grandkids and stuff. And so there's sort of like this overlooking, right? So now you get to see, you have all these grandkids, all these children. What is that like for you these days? Like we just celebrated my birthday. So being at the house and seeing everybody. I will go into
that, but I want to know what you think of the highest person, like me. You don't see me as an authority figure that's strict, kind of, do you?
No, but I think out of, you still deserve, I think, the high, like elders, right, in my family, like deserve that hierarchy of, reverence. And I think my grandparents deserve the very special type of reverence that is different than what I would give to my parents and such, right? And so as you kind of looking over the family structure, like what are some thoughts that go through your head?
I love telling stories. You know that.
For everything.
For everything.
Yeah.
I love telling stories because I think that's part of your culture that you forget about. And when you're little, you're so busy growing up, you don't remember all these things that you did. And like for your birthday, when we all went around and everybody had something to say about you, AJ, it was so powerful, to see how much love was in that room for you. And the girls and everything, I like to give you wisdom that I've learned. And I think all of you are way above me in intelligence. I really think in book-wise, but I think in
life experience.
Yes. Yeah. Your elders always have something to teach you. Always.
Yeah. And I think
that's all I want to do is be here for you and support you as best I can.
Yeah, for sure. And
all of you.
That's what I think is sort of dangerous for people who don't respect their elders, is like, and I even think about it as like God, right? Like God is the tippy top hierarchy of everything, of morality. And so if you put anything above God, then it's like you're putting your trust, your belief into something that falls short of that. And so when I think of like respecting your elders and putting it in some sort of hierarchy sense, like if I don't respect you guys and not able to hold that hierarchy and value of any type, then it's like I'm falling. Like if I think I'm better than that hierarchy, then that's a dangerous place to be.
Yes.
And that's not the type of person I want to be. I want to be somebody who respects that authority and respects that in capacity. Now, obviously things can be dangerous, right? Like there are lessons to learn between people, right? Like I can learn things from you guys and make different decisions when presented whatever situations, right? But I still think I have to have that reverence for my elders. It's so important.
But the one thing to believe in or to understand is that we're human too.
Yeah.
We make mistakes too, and to see us grow. You've seen me grow and you've seen the mistakes I've made.
For sure.
And the respect comes in is how you handle those mistakes. If you see your elders handling them in the right way, then it gives you some kind of insight of how you should handle things when they don't go right.
Totally.
Because we all make mistakes.
Everybody.
And the thing is to understand and not put your parents, it's like movie stars and like singers and stuff. So many people can idolize them. And, you should, it's good that you feel the way you do, because some people just idolize other people,
Yeah,
and put
exactly.
them on a pedestal. And then when they fall down and do something that's just
Then
out
it's
of the ordinary,
them.
it's
And
like,
like
whoa.
pastors, like think about
Yes,
pastors,
there you
right?
go.
It's like people
Yeah,
put
they're
so
human.
much into their pastors that when their pastor
Exactly.
has an affair or launders money, right, in some capacity, then it's like, yo, then their entire faith is
Right.
crumbled.
But what do
And
they
that's
do
why,
to get out of that?
right,
Do they scheme more? Do they lie more? What are
right,
those things? Do they say, "Oh wow, I got involved in something that's not right.
right,
I made a mistake, and
hmm,
and I want to correct it as best I can."
right,
That's where your understanding of
hmm,
the people that you love
yeah,
come in.
yeah. I love it. I love it. It's huge and it's so important. I see. That's why I love this, is because I have no idea where the conversation's gonna go. No idea where the conversation's gonna go. Right. But yeah, no, that's really cool. I appreciate that. So tell me about kind of where you were born, how you ended up in Phoenix, and then like what are your thoughts about like Phoenix nowadays?
I was born in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Oklahoma City
Mm-hmm.
in my aunt's bed. I wasn't born in a
That's
hospital.
wild.
And we moved to Lawton, Oklahoma. My mom and dad got in a bad car accident.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother had me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went back to live with my mom and dad. And your grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
great grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
decided that he was going to build his own place.
Mm.
And he built his own well, and he
Mhm.
built his garage.
Amazing.
But then my mom got sick.
Mm.
And so that's how we moved out here. And I was about 5 when we started that.
Mhm.
And I think I was 6 when we moved out to Tucson. I was
Mm.
raised in Tucson.
Mhm.
We were raised
Oh,
in...
that's amazing. I didn't know.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
what?
We were raised in South Tucson,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
wasn't even in the city limits.
No.
My mom and dad were missionaries, and they worked. My mom was a hygienist, a dental hygienist
cool.
for the military.
Mm.
So civil service. And my dad was a butcher, and he was in the Navy. But they why we moved to Lawton, Oklahoma, is they worked in civil service. Well, also when they were doing that, they did volunteer work. My mother worked for some nuns, sisters of Hungary,
Okay.
from Hungary.
Okay.
And they had an order in Tucson. Okay, there's that Sanavir mission out there,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad went to the mission to help the Indian people learn how to cut meat,
Oh, wow.
so that they could save their meat more and everything.
Right, and preserve
And
it.
my mom went to work for the Sisters of Hungary as a dental hygienist to make their teeth all better.
Mm.
It was sort of a free thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating.
Yeah. I thought it was.
Yeah. No, that's
But
really
we were
cool.
so poor. We lived in a little trailer out there.
Oh, really?
And then my dad says he got a job for Goodman. It was
wow.
Goodman before, and then it was something else before
Yeah.
it ended Lucky's, and then it became
Okay.
Lucky's, and then it became Fry's or Koger's or whatever. But it started out as Goodman. And Goodman had a ranch outside between Tucson and Phoenix here, and we would go out there on yearly picnics. And that was fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, when he got the job as a butcher, then he had enough money to buy a house. And he put down a payment. His first house was $2,500.
Yeah, I wish. Not anymore. You'll never find that ever again.
Something.
You'll never find that again.
And then my dad
That's
cut
amazing.
his thumb off when he got mad at his boss.
Oh, no way. Just wasn't
Okay.
paying attention.
Right.
Jeez.
It turned around and wham, there was only one doctor that would save his thumb, and he was up here in Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So my aunt calls and she says she's coming to get me because she can't handle it.
Right.
And I was 13 years old at the time. I didn't have a driver's license or anything. I had to drive all the way up here to Phoenix because my aunt passed out because she couldn't handle the blood.
The blood that was like gushing from his finger.
We got the thumb in an ice bucket.
Yeah.
It got him up here, and then the doctor sewed it to his stomach. And we had to clean that thing for 9 months or so, AJ. What a trip.
That is crazy.
And so he couldn't work. He got workman's comp, but he couldn't work. So then he decided he would be an upholsterer because Teresa could sew. So he had my sister sewing, and then he had me measuring everything, and he opened up a little shop in the garage. So that's what he did to make money, but he would never ask for any money.
Yeah, that's amazing. How do you where do you get your like storytelling ability from?
I have no
because
idea.
it literally seems like it's at any occasion, anytime you have a story for something.
Come up with a story.
Is that like just life experience? Like you have such a vast life experience. Like, I mean, you can talk about maybe, I don't know, Colombia. Like, you have so many different things that it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
And I haven't traveled as much as some people, you know, like you guys. You guys have really traveled a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you've got stories too in you, AJ, of all the places you've been and everything.
Yeah. And yeah, like Etna, California.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to get into Etna.
No, we definitely do.
But
Tell that one. Tell that one.
Past Etna.
What do you mean?
There's a story way past Etna. Okay. You want to hear
past
this?
Etna?
Past Etna.
What do you mean past?
I mean, since Etna, right? You know I ended up in Casa Grande. Okay, I'm in Casa Grande, and I meet this lady. This is why nothing is, what do you call it? Coincidence.
Yeah.
It all happens for a reason.
Right.
I met this lady, and she was Greek Orthodox.
And this is after?
This is when I was in Casa Grande. So
but after we went?
After.
Yeah.
Years after,
AJ. Yeah.
Years.
Like a decade,
years after, yeah. I was talking to somebody else, my friend Karen. You know Karen. I was talking to Karen about our experience in Etna. She knew the order. They had moved back to Russia. They were from Russia. They had moved back to Russia. They weren't in Etna anymore.
Jeez.
They hadn't been in Etna, maybe less than a year after we were there. Right.
Well, let's give context to Etna. So if you want to take it back, we'll totally talk about it. Take it back to like the vision.
Oh, wow.
Take it back to the vision.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a friend named Barbara. Okay, Barbara was praying to God one day, and then she saw this vision of this angel writing these letters on a chalkboard. Okay, so she looks up on the internet the letters, and
it's crazy.
The order that we went to was that. I can't remember that order now.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but she looked up on the internet and found.
And then she calls me and tells me about it. Tells me I have to go to Etna, California. I look it up, and she looks it up again, and it is not there. It is not there.
That's crazy. And this is like 2000.
You were 10.
2007.
So anyway, then we get down to Etna, California, and you know my friend Barbara.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to go, but we were trying to find the place. So we found the monastery, Greek.
Greek
they
Orthodox,
were a Greek order, but they were from Russia. And so we literally ended up at the end of the road, a dead end of Etna. Etna had 200, population 200. I don't think we saw 200 people.
No.
Anyway, so we were driving back, and I finally saw the monastery. It was kind of sitting back, and she says, but that's not what I saw. Barbara said, that's not what I saw. And I said, well, it's the only monastery we've seen since we've been here. We're going to go knock on the door.
Check it out.
We knock on the door, and the guy comes to the thing, and he says, Barbara, I've been waiting for you.
Wait, wild.
His name was Gregory.
That's so crazy.
Right. And you know, they set us on a bench, had to call back Greece to get permission
for us to
even go in there, so he could show us around in his monastery. And he made provisions for us to stay with the nuns. And so when we went over to the nuns, that's what Barbara saw on the internet, was that dome. that Russian dome or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she saw. And we were such lay people that they knew we were from God, that they had to take us in, AJ.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do with us.
Yeah.
But they showed us everything they could show us because they knew God. That's what God told them to do.
That's amazing.
Because they should have turned us away, AJ.
Because I was a guy.
They should have turned us away for everything. We have a child with us. We're,
just walking the streets. Literally like walking the streets of Northern California. We're from Arizona.
You're right.
Yeah.
So we also went, do you remember when she says, oh yeah, we can stay at this. This is before we found the monastery. I said, let's find a place to stay first.
Right.
And so we went to that bed and breakfast because she didn't make
Oh, I do remember that. And
it was up for sale.
That's so crazy.
It was up for sale. So we couldn't stay there.
Yeah.
So we went to the other one and they said they were out hiking or something. They'll leave a note on the door and they would call us. They never called us.
Yeah.
So finally we ended up at the monastery. And he says, do you have a place to stay? And we just laughed. Have you eaten? We just laughed.
Right.
I said, no, I wanted to get this done before dark and get out of here.
Right.
I didn't want to get stuck in this little tiny town at dark.
You don't know anything. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
And so anyway, then he took us over to the nuns.
Yeah.
And you know how that happened.
Yeah,
they took us in and they loved you, AJ. They loved him some AJ.
That was so wild. We literally stayed with nuns. And, the couple things I remember from that was we wake up, right? And for breakfast, they take us over to the table. And we're like sitting and they're like, you want breakfast? And we're like, yes. And they bring out like a bowl of cereal. And it's Cheerios. And then we start eating it. And we're like, oh, this is good. And we look out the window and there's goats. And they're like, yep, this is fresh goat milk. Like straight from the pressed from this morning. And I just remember that was just like a very significant trip. That was so significant for me. And like I always remember that.
You
for
were
sure.
up in your bed and you just were happy that you had the view. And the horse.
Mm-hmm.
Pippin was his name, wasn't it?
Pippin, yeah, I think so.
And you loved that little miniature horse.
Yeah.
And the thing is when we were over there sitting on a bench, waiting for them to call Greece, you ended up getting bit by mosquitoes.
Oh,
they tore you up.
That's
I thought that you had the West Nile virus.
Yeah,
because
they were
you were sick and you couldn't eat that night. We came and they're vegetarians, so they fed us spaghetti or something, a pasta with a sauce on it. And you love pasta.
Yeah.
And I thought, and you couldn't even eat it.
Yeah.
So I knew that something was wrong.
What's wrong? Yeah.
And then do you remember the next morning when they took us to their church?
The service, yeah. And it was like the tiny door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had to
Wasn't that
crawl
something?
in. Yeah, and then didn't understand the service because
we couldn't even go in there.
Yeah.
We were lay people.
Yeah.
So we had to stay out. That's the only place they made us stay away from. And it was that area in there. But they let us stand in that hallway so we could look in and watch what was going on, but we were not allowed in the sanctuary is what they call that.
Yeah.
And but they showed us everything. They showed us where they sewed the robes.
Yeah.
They showed us where they recorded the songs and stuff. And do you remember what I said to the nun?
Huh.
I said, wow, you guys do all of this. You have a garden. You make all the food. She was fixing the pump because it didn't work where we were at. She fixed the pump. I says, wow, you ladies do everything. What do the men do?
Yeah. What'd she say?
She says, well, once a month they put out this little piece of paper.
Like little flyers.
Right.
That's hilarious.
I thought so too.
That's so funny. What a trip. I remember that. And then there's obviously so many more stories.
Do you remember what the nun said to you when we left?
Mm-mm.
She says, AJ, don't worry what you're here. One day God will show you what you came here for. So don't try to figure out why you're here. Just one day that'll happen.
It'll hit.
Okay, well.
It's another story, after.
Yes, like now I'm in Casa Grande another 10 years later.
Yeah.
And this lady's talking about this friend, she gave her this picture that had that circle around Mary. And the only people I knew that had that circle around Mary were the Greek Orthodox. And I looked up at her and I said, are you Greek Orthodox? Orthodox? And she said, yeah. And I said, oh, well, do you know this order? And I had the songs that they gave us. So I had their name and everything.
Yeah.
I don't remember it offhand. But I had that. And so she said, yeah. And that's when she told me they were back in Russia. They were from Russia.
From Russia, yeah.
Okay. This goes on and on, AJ. So anyway, she says they have a monastery outside of Florence.
Oh, wow.
You need to go there.
Yeah. Did you go?
Oh, yeah, but there's a story about how I got there.
Oh, geez.
All right, so I'm telling another friend about this, and he's Greek Orthodox.
Okay.
He gave them the money to build that thing, and he buried his wife there. So he took me and Karen there.
Yeah.
But you need to go there one day because they show you everything. Well, we didn't get to go where they lived, in the areas they lived.
Right.
But you know how the little churches, they had several little chapels like that, and where you get to go in and sit down and everything.
Interesting.
I have pictures of that. I have to show you.
Yeah, you have to show me.
That's
amazing.
And it's like a oasis in the desert. It is beautiful, AJ. They hand built all of that stuff.
Yeah.
All the palm trees. They make all their own food. They built everything there.
Right.
And these are just a few monks. But these don't have the females with them.
Yeah.
They don't have the order of the females. This is just all men.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about becoming a nun?
Oh no. Well, maybe.
No?
Maybe when I was 10 years old.
You're like, oh, that looks interesting. But
yeah, my cousin Ann, we thought was going to be a nun, and she was 40 years old when she got married.
Amazing.
Had 2 kids. Yeah.
At 40?
Yeah, at 40.
Amazing.
But we were all kind of considering, because in each family, someone became a nun or a priest. And there was only me and Teresa left in our family. And I said, well, you can be the nun. I don't want to be the nun. That's all you. Yeah, right. And she got married right away. So
yeah, exactly.
And I figured, okay, I'm going to have to be the nun.
That's all me.
Right. No,
that's too funny.
That never happened.
That's too good. Can you share a story about, my mom in general, if anything comes to mind? I know it's kind of out of left field, but
yes,
just like something your spirit's leading you to.
I was so busy raising my kids and working, AJ. We had our own business.
Yeah. And
I was so busy doing that I never really quite got your mom's humor.
Never understood it.
I never paid attention to it. I was so busy, like, just kind of brushed it off or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing these videos of her when we were little, and when she was little.
Yeah.
And
recently?
We went over.
Have you recently watched these videos?
No, it's been several years ago. Probably even before you guys were born.
Oh, okay.
And I says, wow, Chanel, you have a really great sense of humor.
Yeah.
I says, I'm sorry I didn't pay enough attention to that.
Yeah.
You're, just...
So funny.
We went over to these friends' house, Dorothy and Ray. They were my mom's friends from high school. Okay, and they just got out of the swimming pool. And I was going to do your mom's hair. And she takes the comb, and she just has this funny expression on her face. And she's banging the comb on the table saying, I hate this comb. instead of saying, I hate you, Mom, for doing my hair. It hurts, or I don't like my... she's blaming it on the comb.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I loved that.
That's so good.
And she did. And one thing about your mom, I don't care how bad the situation is. You will see a smile on her face.
Always.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like undeniable. Like she's going to have a very sweet spirit regardless of whatever's going on.
And she has a aura about her that she can handle adversity. And that's just awesome. Yeah. Not too many people can do that. They're going to lose their temper at some point.
Yeah.
And there's only one time your mom lost her temper. And I told her when she went to school, I says, you can let them call you any kind of name you want to let them call. Right. They want to call you, but never let them put their hands on you.
Right.
And I think it was a guy. I always thought it was a girl. But recently I think it was a guy.
Yeah.
And he had spit on her, and she put him in the hospital.
That's crazy.
Put him in the hospital.
Yeah.
And
it's like righteous.
yeah, and he never came back to school. And in the school, you have a guard that rides around on one of those things that's like a golf course.
Yeah, like a golf cart.
And she says, I didn't see anything. He probably fell and hit his lip or something.
Yeah.
She said, I don't see nothing.
I don't know what's going on over here.
So she backed your mom up and everything. But and one time she was on the bus and they were drinking at the bus stop. And I said to her, what's going on? She would tell on them. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, Chanel, you can't just have me taking you to school for nothing. I got a lot of stuff going on here. So finally I went to the principal of the junior high. Mm-hmm. He was a black man. And I went to the principal of the junior high, and he went to the bus stop and found out what was going on. They were drinking and smoking at the bus stop, and your mom didn't want to get
them in
trouble with it. Yeah. But she didn't want to get them in trouble, but she didn't want to be a part of that.
Right.
And he put a stop to that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So she's loyal.
Yes.
Yeah, she'll look out for her people.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to look out.
But she'll back away from it, I can't be a part of this,
Right. Very smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, well, this is interesting about your mom, too. She's older. She's probably 16 now. Mm-hmm. And we went to the Paradise Valley Mall. And we walked in this store, and it was a brand new store, and they had all these exotic stuff in there. And I think I ended up buying her this little kangaroo brooch. She liked kangaroos.
She loved them.
Yeah.
Loved them.
And she says, Mom, one day I can buy everything in this store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
She just knew she was going to go make some money.
Yeah.
And when she got pregnant with you, she was all about business. Forget this artwork. I'm going to go to business school. I'm going to get out. I'm going to make money. And
that's amazing.
Take care of my family.
It's a switch.
Yeah. She was very concerned that you wouldn't know her because your dad and I took care of you for the first year and a half or so that you were born. And I said, baby.
He's like, you'll be fine.
Right. He came out. He came from you. It's all going to come back.
Exactly. Yeah,
we're just trying to get you through the little times,
Yeah. That's beautiful. And it takes a village at that point.
Yeah.
Because they're so young, like 19 and 20. And it's like the amount of support that is needed.
She was so eager. They got this place on their own. Mm-hmm. And they were all ready to move in and everything. And they stayed, I think, like 6 months maybe. I don't know if it was even that long. And they didn't, they were paying the individual guy. And I said, well, you should not do that. Mm-hmm. But they were so eager to get it. And, Papa backed them up and everything. And I said, no, if you're not paying a bank, And so anyway, that fell through.
Yeah.
So they came back and poor mom. Yeah. She had to humble herself and come back to
ego just
come
swallow
back
it.
home.
It just like, oh,
right,
okay.
that smile.
Yeah.
But it didn't take her long, and she got her little money back together, and she was right back out there.
Yeah.
Got that place on Green Gable, and she knew when to move from there to Maricopa. She always had that instinct of when it was time and to move forward to
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's something that is super inspirational.
And it's not a materialistic thing, AJ. It's a progressive survival thing or something.
Yeah,
it's making a better life for you guys.
It's love, right?
Yeah,
it's not coming from a place of ego.
Right.
It's coming from a place of what is right. Let's try to maximize life. Right. As much as possible.
That's her attitude, yeah.
Yeah, and it isn't
and
very
I love that about her.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very inspirational because it's very easy, I think, nowadays, especially with social media, to kind of go into that spiral and trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to purchase the best and the biggest, especially when you can, right? It's like, no, you don't want to do that. That's not the way to go. And that's not the way to operate. And it's not good to raise kids necessarily in that, right? You want to raise them to be humble and and chase their dream, chase the things that they need to do, and take care of business.
And know that they can do whatever,
right,
God has willed them to do.
Totally.
They have to follow their divine purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the main thing. If I don't tell you and the girls anything else, live by your spirit.
Yeah.
Follow your divine purpose. It's there.
What do you think yours is?
My divine purpose is to come from a place of love and do what I can today to tell people about Jesus, not to force that on them, but to show them from my actions.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, AJ, you're going to be around a lot of people that don't believe in God, that don't believe but just be you.
Yeah.
Don't force anything on them. That's the one thing that's kind of bad about religion, is they can try to force stuff on you, and then people resent that.
Yeah.
And just live as a pure human being as best you can. We're all going to fall, but do the best you can to serve God and Jesus.
Yeah, there's definitely like a as I've like grown and watched, there's definitely like a human part of ministry. Like Jesus is going to do his thing, God's going to do his thing and what he needs to do, but there is a human element that takes into account communication. It takes into account, it's what logos, ethos, and pathos, right? Like you need to emotionally appeal to people, you need to have the credibility, and you need to have it needs to logically make sense, right? Of like why I should believe in this. That's like the human element of you that needs to be taken into account when ministering, right? So when you have the people who are doing street ministry, like there's a time and a place, but like going around and thumping the Bible on people's head and telling them they're going to hell just isn't going to sit right in the palate. Again, there's a time and a place. I'm sure there's people who have been convicted by that, but I always question if that is the most effective way in 2022 to reach the hearts of people and show them to the fountain of Christianity, right? Like there's this fountain, there's this well of water that has peace and such that you can sip from too, just like this is the understanding and the bridge that needs to be there. And it's spraying a hose at somebody probably isn't the best way to water them versus hey, let me lead you to the well and hey, come check this out. Yeah, which is crazy. And so I totally agree with that. And I think when we're walking in that purpose, I think we can do the maximum benefit to the kingdom.
Right. And I don't want to convince anybody of anything. What I pray for, AJ, is to have them have their own miracles. And I think as a kid I believed without needing the miracles. But as I had tragedies in my life, God has shown me and Jesus has shown me they never let go of me.
Yeah.
All I have to do is cry out. And they're there.
Yeah.
And they saved my life several times.
Yeah.
In several situations.
Yeah.
I can't deny that. It's beyond my own understanding, AJ.
Right.
What I have seen cannot happen in this world. It comes from a supernatural world.
Yeah. Are you comfortable sharing one of those? Just like any of the miracles? It's totally okay if not.
Sure. There's a lot with you. You're the miracle, AJ. Yeah, you and your birth was a miracle. If we don't want to go into that, we can go on.
That's fine, we can do that.
Your fingers were a miracle. The 3.
Yeah.
Just, on Good Friday. Both of those happened on Good Friday.
Yeah.
So
that's why I can't drive or do anything on Good Friday anymore.
Really?
Mom and Dad are like, you better not.
God's there to protect you, bud.
I
don't care what you get yourself into.
Your anointing is not there on Good Friday, so don't get into anything.
But he's there to get you out of it, though.
Yeah.
That's what we have to realize.
Yeah.
Whatever trouble you got into on Good Friday, he was there to get you out of,
Totally.
That
was a trip.
He had
if you want to talk about the birth a little bit.
Okay.
We'll share that one. And
Your mom was you were in stress. Okay, that's not your mom. Your mom, she wasn't going to have an epidural. Mm-hmm. She was going to have you naturally. Mm-hmm. And it got so bad, that they got her an epidural. But you're coming, AJ, and the cord's wrapped around your neck. Mm-hmm. And you're in between the, coming out. And your heart quits. Your heart quits beating. Everybody panics. Everybody panics. The doctor comes in. She's going to do a cesarean, bam, like right away. I mean, those things happen really fast.
Yeah.
And she reached in there to see how far your mom was along. And she says, he's here already. You're in the canal. I got to do something now. Yeah. So she takes, what a doctor. Mm-hmm. She takes her little hand up in there and she takes the cord off your neck, and then your heart starts beating again. So then she gets some forceps or whatever to make your mom whiter, and she throws you out. She gets you out. Okay. Yeah. Then you scream. Yeah. And the minute you scream, Papa's little beeper went off. Yeah. We didn't have cell phones then.
Right.
We had
the
beepers.
Pagers. Yeah.
So that went off, and he had to go find a phone. Mm-hmm. He comes back and he says, the house is burnt down. We got to go home right away. Is the baby okay? Yeah. He said, is the baby okay? Right. Oh, yeah. Everybody says the baby's fine. The baby's okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, love you guys. We got to go.
Now we got to go take care of this. Right. Yeah.
So we get to the house, and it is pitch black. Dark as dark can be. And all the electricity's off.
Of course.
Because the house is burnt down. Yeah. So the fireman picks up his little flashlight, and he walks in there, and he flashes the light on the cross, first of all. Mm-hmm. And he says, wow, if you don't believe in God, there's something wrong with you. This whole wall is gone. Mm-hmm. It's gone, AJ. Mm-hmm. It is toast. Yeah. But this cross is up there. Mm-hmm. He goes into, it's a wooden cross. It's a Catholic cross.
Yeah.
He picks it up off the wall, and the little white piece of stucco just is like in
brand new.
In air. It's just crazy. Like there. Yeah. There's nothing attached
like
to
this.
it. Yeah, there's nothing attached to it, AJ. And it's just up there for, maybe a couple of minutes, and then it falls down.
That's crazy.
But it's up there in the middle of nowhere, you have to have been there, AJ.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay. And everything's melted. Okay, in the other room, the refrigerator and everything's melted to the ground. Mm-hmm. This side table is melted to the ground. Mm-hmm. The rug's all gone. Yeah. There's a plastic baby bottle.
Jeez.
That's real tall, and it's full of dollar bills and coins. It did not even melt.
That's
not
crazy.
$1 or a coin.
Nothing
got lost in that.
That's crazy.
Your little bassinet is on the couch. The couch is gone. It's all gone. The little bassinet's up there with a blanket over the top of it, not even touched.
That's so crazy.
Not even touched. There's the little swing that the bassinet goes into. The little seat thing is fine. Yeah. The only thing that happened is it melted the handle, so we couldn't turn it off.
Oh, wow.
And the batteries. So we couldn't get the batteries out. Yeah. And we couldn't turn it off. It swung for 3 days. That's 3 days.
Crazy.
There we go again with the 3 days. Yeah. This is Good Friday, AJ.
Right.
This is Good Friday.
Crazy.
Sunday it quit.
Yeah.
Swinging back and forth. Okay. He goes in the living room. Everything's gone in the living room. He sees a fleck of white. He goes over there and does this. And these little booties I made for you is just as white as they were when I crocheted.
That's unreal. That is so crazy.
Everything of the babies was saved.
Yeah. Amazing.
Isn't he trying to tell us something, AJ?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then with your 3 fingers on Good Friday,
Yeah, and it's like we may never know why, right? Like the reason as like what the saying is, right? Like God's trying to tell us. But it comes when it needs to, right? Like there's no letter. There's like, it just is. And it comes as you live life.
Especially for you, AJ. It's like the letters in the sky. You remember those?
Oh, the Jesus?
Yeah, you
Yeah, it was a
remember
trip.
that. See?
It was a trip. Yeah.
See?
No, it's a trip.
You
Literally
remember
a
that?
trip. Yeah.
I
totally
didn't
remember
see
that.
him, and you're just spelling it
Yeah.
out. And I go around
Yeah.
the corner, and there it is, and bam! As soon as
Yeah.
I saw it, it disappeared.
Yeah.
That
Crazy.
was
That was a
awesome.
trip.
Yeah.
I remember that. It's nuts.
So he's conferring all along. You know,
Yeah.
like now, if you get confused about anything, he's going to show you something. And some people
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
never get any miracles like that, AJ. Never.
Never. Or they try to rationalize it to the best of their ability,
Right. Oh,
which is
there
which
you
is
go.
supernatural.
Yeah.
Which is like, I get it. Like, I
Yeah.
understand that. But I think there's such a beautiful part of life in believing in that, in miracles, and that, like, the idea of, like, no, like, anything is possible.
It's beyond our own understanding.
It's
and we have
yeah.
no control over it. And they're saying that it's our mind, but it's not. It's your spirit, AJ.
Yeah.
It's coming from your gut. You can feel it down there.
It's visceral.
Yeah. I mean, when I fell in the spirit up in Sedona, this fire came in my stomach, AJ. And logic tells you a fire burns.
Yeah.
A fire will burn.
Right.
And it's going around like you turn on a gas stove, and it's blue, and then it's white, and then it's, and it came like that in my stomach.
That's crazy.
And we were praying for somebody else, and I got the healing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even wanting a healing.
I was like, I don't even.
I always thought I was healed, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't, I was praying for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's when a lot of my miracles have showed up, when I'm praying for other people. And God says, hey, you still need a healing. Hey, we're going to take care of this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that. Would you look at that?
Yes. And I had a friend in Texas that always, she was real strong in their faith. And they were, I forget their religion even. First Christian or...
Like Seventh Day.
Yeah, something like that. But she said I had to be dunked. I needed to be dunked.
Versus sprinkled?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I said, well, I'm going to pray over it.
Yeah.
And then this happened. I says, hey, I read in the Bible that, man's going to baptize you with water, but I'm going to baptize you with the fire of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So when that fire came in me, I didn't need to be touched
like
at all, AJ.
Okay.
I was done. I says, hey, I know who I belong to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
hilarious.
That was it for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
like,
that.
Okay.
I love that.
You guys can go on and dunk yourself and sprinkle yourself all you want, but I'm okay.
You do you. Yeah. No, I'm good and I'm covered and I'm straight. I love that. That's too funny. So what's something that, like, you're really fascinated by these days, like recently? It could be anything from, like, a TV show, something you read in, like, a newspaper.
I'm fascinated about how you can have such different views with someone and really love them too. How you can love people unconditionally.
Yeah.
AJ, that unconditional love is just something else, and I don't understand it.
It's beyond. Yeah. It's beyond.
But that's when you know that you've got the spirit in you, when you can
handle that.
And
not get triggered.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem.
Want to argue with somebody all the time,
Right.
I don't want to do that. I'm past arguing.
Yeah. It's too petty.
You want to be who you want to be, fine. Be who you want to be, but I don't want to necessarily change you. I just, want to let you know that I love you and God loves you.
Yeah.
Whether you want to believe that or not.
Right, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. And I think that's something that we all can take apart, like a book, like a page from. Like, I think as I look around, there's so much division amongst people. And a lot of the things that I see on social media, it's like a lot of people not ever wanting to agree to disagree, or I love you regardless of what it is that you believe, or things like that. And I think that's a lesson that we can all take. Definitely think that's a lesson we can all take. Maybe on the flip side, what's something that you're struggling with? What's something that maybe I could help with, or what have you? Are there anything that you're struggling with?
Getting rid of pain and hurt when you've forgiven somebody or something's in your past, it's hard for me, especially since I have so much physical pain from it, to get rid of the hurt.
Sticks around.
It does, and I don't want that, you know. I want to let go of that. I want to be able to, like your party when Papa came in. I mean, that just almost ruined my night, you know.
Yeah.
But I learned to deal with it. But it seemed to bother me when it shouldn't. That shouldn't bother me anymore.
Yeah.
It's way in the past, you know. And I'm living with this one day at a time thing. It's kind of like you're saying, you know,
Facts.
but you're not acting like you're saying. You're letting things still from the past or whatever, you know. Sometimes you let that human element get in there, and it's just.
Yeah, there's something really fascinating about forgiveness. So when was it, like the end of 2020-ish? You know, I went to mom and dad, and, you know, obviously we all come from crazy families, but like everybody does, right? Like, you know, I've talked on here before, like the idea of everybody sins and falls short of the glory of God, like stems from the idea that, we literally, like no one's perfect, and parents like do things to their kids, right, in an imperfect way that causes hurt or trauma or what have you. And so, you know, after events and looking into stuff and being recommended to forgive, I went to mom and dad and was like, I forgive you guys and sorry for resenting you for these things. And really ever since then, like the spiritual transformation has been crazy. Because I think, you know, we can justify, like, you know, I forgave them in some way, or, you know, it doesn't hurt me, or, you know, they didn't know, but actually like going up to them and forgiving them was, I think, very spiritual. And it's something that's super fascinating to actually watch happen and observe myself, like going through this sort of like returning to the Father. Like, I think my dad and I's relationship, I don't think has ever been better than it is now. Like mom, we're still firing on cylinders, and it's great. But having gone through that process, like I feel like the weight is off. It's fascinating, and it's something that, you know, in conversations with people, like I always just recommend, like, you know, if there's an opportunity, and I'm not going to suggest anything to you, but if there's ever an opportunity for forgiveness somewhere ever, you know, it's something
and I've done that.
Yeah.
I've gone to him. I've asked him for forgiveness for the things that I felt.
No.
I've done wrong. No.
It's not asking for forgiveness.
No. And I also forgave him for the things that I felt he had done.
Sure.
But why does the pain keep coming up? You know, that's it. It's not about the forgiveness for me, because I understand all that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And there was a point to where I even forgot about it. You know, I don't think about it. It's not something that's on my agenda every day. It's gone. It's gone, AJ. It's totally gone. But then when I see him, it pops up.
Yeah.
And Deanna, I mean, your aunt, took me to this guy. I only went to see him once, and I guess he had his own issues or whatever. But he was working on that, the physical pain that's connected to the emotional hurt.
To the situation. Yeah.
It's like your body should heal itself over a period of time. If you still have that pain, it's coming from the emotional side.
Yeah.
And I found that a lot of that was coming from my father.
Yeah.
That I was shocked about.
And I think that's the idea of returning to the Father. Is like, we say it with God, but I think there's something very visceral about earthly Father. And going and saying, I forgive you.
Yeah.
That surpasses and trumps like everything. That was just so crazy. But that's fascinating that you found that.
Yeah, but I did that in a weird way. I don't know that I actually. I forgived him, but I don't know why I still carry the anger.
Did you do it in person?
Yes.
To his face, and you said,
Yes.
I forgive you?
Yes, and I gave him to God.
Yeah.
You know, I asked him the same 3 questions I asked this woman he went to be with, and that was a whole nother story one day.
Yeah.
But when he answered yes to them, that he believed in God and he believed in Jesus Christ and he believed that he would, you know, have to be accountable for his sins.
For sure.
I says, well, Dad, I'm okay letting go of you, you know. You're in God's hands now. So whatever you say, like you're saying to me that you don't believe that there is a God or there's an afterlife or anything, I know in your spirit you do. You know. So you can say whatever you want in your head. You know. I know. You know. Yeah. I know what you've taught me, and I know, you know, where you're going to come at the end of your life.
Right.
So to let go of you, and after that, it's like it was 7 years before he died, and I never saw him again, never talked to him again or anything, AJ.
Yeah.
But I said to him then, you know, I forgive you for everything and anything. You know, I said, I love you unconditionally, Dad.
Yeah.
I just want you to be happy.
Yeah. That's love.
Yeah, but I found that I had anger for it.
Like still.
Yeah.
Do you
crazy anger?
Do you meditate?
Things? Yes.
So you like observe your thoughts? So you take time to like observe your thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
just one day at a time. So you're like. So
I go into that. I go into weird visions.
Yeah. That's a trip.
One day we'll talk about those visions.
For sure.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't judge. You know, don't judge the anger, because like, you know, it's not you. Right. It's just like thoughts that like come and go.
They do.
Like they come and go, and
I don't
feelings
let them
and emotions
control
they
my
come
days
and go. Yeah.
in my here and now and today. I don't do that.
Yeah.
But it bothers me when it comes up. Like, why is it still around?
It's still here. Like, get away. Like, peace out, please. Why? Like, what? And it's amazing that you still recognize that, though. That's a huge part of it. Is like, yo, why am I getting angry? Or like, why? Like, that's a great step in observing and overcoming and getting through. But yeah, I think it's one day at a time. It's one day at a time. It'll be good.
So how are you doing?
I'm good. Life is well. All is well. Just you know, it's cliche, but just trying to be like the best brother, the best son, the best just me that I possibly can be. You know, sticking on my routine of doing my meditations, my prayers, my working out. You know, trying to understand like where recently just kind of looking at like my career and the things that I want to do and accomplish.
And what are those?
So, you know, there's positions that I want to hold. There's like certain like gigs I want, people that I want to work with. And it's like creating like a roadmap has been like super interesting. It's something that I've never done. But there is like a struggle or a pull between the practical, like I want my life, this is how I want to be, versus like the be present, tomorrow isn't promised, you don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. Like, you know, there's a lot of friction between 100% trust in God and then create your own life and vision, right? And like, what does that look like? And
have you ever made a vision board? Do you know what a vision board is?
Yeah. No, I've done that before. And, you know, that stuff helps. But I think, I guess it's something that I have to pray about, is like the I want my life to look like this, and the God is going to take care of everything that is outside of like practical. I have a job, I need to take care of my bills and stuff like that, like the extra stuff. I don't know if that's a good way to articulate it, but yeah, that's always been the friction or the push and the pull for sure.
Yeah, you have to ask him to show you. You know, this is where I struggled when people kept saying when you're little, oh, you can be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
You can be anything you want to be.
Yeah, that's all.
Well, you can be anything you want to be if that's your divine purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if you turn into your divine purpose and you pray for understanding of that and how to put that into your wants and everything, then he shows you, AJ.
Yeah.
He shows you. It's when I was in Texas, I sat there when I got to Texas and I says, God, I don't want to sit here and just be with my mom and be depressed all day long.
Sure.
I need a job.
Yeah.
I need you to put me somewhere where I can serve you. Bam. It didn't be 2 hours and I had that job. I says, God, you know how I am, that I can't go on an interview and all this other stuff, and I'm getting disabilities, so I can only make so much money. And, you know, I laid it all out for him, AJ. Yeah. 2 hours later, I had a job.
Like, let me work.
Yeah. I was never interviewed or anything. Right. She says, bring her down here. I'm hiring her.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's when I went to that basket place.
Oh, okay.
She trusted me, believed in me,
and
I was given total freedom. Which I didn't want to work with other women. I didn't want to be in a petty situation.
Right.
You know, I mean, I was older and everything. I wanted to be able to be of service and put me with a lady that was a Christian, and I was able to be trusted and have my freedom and everything, AJ. It was awesome.
That's beautiful.
And it was fun. It was a fun job. It wasn't like work. It was like going, and the only thing that was bad is the tornado came through and I had to get in the bathtub.
Right. That's scary.
I couldn't even drive home.
Right. That's a mess.
That was a trip.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it. I told you guys, like, story out the yin yang, like stories on deck. No matter what, see, we could apply it to anything and just like go. That's such a powerful and great aspect of you. I love it.
You gotta find humor in everything.
You have to. You have to.
In everything.
Or else, like, life sucks.
Yeah.
Interesting. So as we, kind of wrap up, like, what can I do better as a grandson for you? If there's anything. I'm sure there's maybe something, but.
I want a great-grandchild. No, I'm joking, AJ. I'm beginning to wonder if that's going to happen with all you guys.
We got time. Okay. We got time. I'll take my time.
I want it to be, what you guys want, but I want you to be happy in whatever your destinations are, AJ. That was just a little humor.
Yeah, it's just I got to make sure it's done right.
Right.
I got to do the right steps.
Yeah.
Right? And so,
and if that isn't even your purpose, if that isn't your divine purpose, and you don't end up there, I'm fine with that. I just want you to
it'll be good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I got you. I'm crying. She said, I want great grandkids. Come on now.
Do you know how many great grandchildren your great grandma had when she died? All of you. She's seen all of you except for
Edelyn.
Chevion and Edelyn.
Yeah,
Eddie was born and he
was.
Ginger's little one was born.
Yeah.
Ginger's little one was Eddie's age. So Ginger's 3 kids she got to see. Teddy's 2 kids she got to see, and all you guys were there.
That's beautiful.
And you guys were all there when she passed away.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Going there for great grandma.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
It was beautiful. Yeah. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, I love you really too, good. AJ.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to do it again soon.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool beans, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Element Podcast. Again, this is my grandmother. My name is Askia. Make sure that you guys go ahead, like, subscribe, comment what you thought down below, and make sure to tune in for the next one. But with that being said, peace out. Enjoy your day. Cool. Right.
You know who that is? That's Eddie.
Oh, it was, huh? Yeah.
He was always doing that.
I love that. Yeah. Well, cool beans. Thank you so much.
Yes, AJ. I love you too. It was fine, yeah.
Good.